Okay, any other ideas?
Let's go back to that one with the tent.
The tent.
The revival healing tent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
go
now,
back to the
I did ask Robert the question. 'Cause for some reason I got the impression that maybe the tent is going to be for our worship and everything, but I don't know. So I don't know whether we're going to be able to use the main church facility or we'll have to do everything on the tent. So I'm waiting for the answer to that question. But anyway, tent means shade, which would be good. So, why did you want to go back to that question? Was there something you had in mind?
Well, you said that that's why we're there for the.
Oh, yes, okay, right. Okay, so then, question is, we want to share the gospel. How do you want to share the gospel? That's right, come up. How do you want to do that? Larry?
Sure, we could talk about our experiences there versus how life is here, kind of like we did in the Philippines,
Testimonies?
Yeah, well, just share about the difference of our home and the way it is there or something.
How do you share the gospel right now?
Do you notice? It seems like every time we talk about something like the gospel, something doesn't want us to talk about.
You can open us now.
Put the blinds
back again and open the windows.
Oh, because and here we go. We talk about the gospel, and all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. I'm just kidding.
What is the
Melinda?
how much of what the kids are doing with Jillian? How much of that is related to the gospel, or is it all academic?
This was academic. You can put one of those clips on it, David. This was academic. They'll cut that now. They said they don't want to do any of that anymore. They really like this idea of doing a SCP type of camp. Yes.
It would depend on the age.
Yes.
Depending on how you share it, depending on the age of it.
Yes.
And that church is a Worldwide Church of God church, so that they don't preach anything that's different doctrines that we wouldn't be familiar with, or okay. I'm just kind of curious what they might be familiar with Catholic.
Are we going to be doing?
It's a Protestant country, I think.
Okay.
Everybody goes to church. One of the interesting things about I was driving to church with somebody, and I drive past this church, and there's a parking space that's marked for the First Lady. It's reserved for the First Lady. Isn't that impressive? It's the pastor's wife. She gets her own parking space, and she's called the First Lady. That's the way it is over there.
Whoa.
Put your hand up.
Yeah. Are we going to do a VBS or anything like that?
And for those who don't know what a VBS is.
Vacation Bible School. So, Vacation Bible School is typically ages up to 12, from like 3 years up. Something like that. I would say because we're having these other activities, it's more like an SCP with mini campers, which is what we had at SCP last year. I mean, it's up to us how we're going to do it. I mean, what do we do at SCP? We have praise and worship first thing, and then we have like a message, a biblical message. And then later in the day, they might have Christian living 3 times a week or something like that. We could do something like that, and each have their own age-appropriate thing.
We also have counselors in dorms.
Yes.
Are we breaking them just by age? Like all this group is together, or are we actually dividing those
I
up
think
even
that's a
further?
very good idea, because if you have 18 years and 5 years together, you can't be the same.
Oh, sure. But is there enough of the up to 18-year-olds to be one group, or should they be 2 or more? I'm not sure how many.
It's another question that I have. Will they try to get registration ahead of time? Jillian has never done a registration ahead of time. The kids just come, and she's got 60 to 100 kids and 4 people. So they just do what they can. Ideally, they would try to register some of them ahead of time, and then others will show up, just because that's the way it is, and we can put a limit on it.
If we have to.
Yeah.
don't wanna.
Well, okay, let me go back to our experience in the Philippines last year. We went to this one church, had a meeting hall, and we told them that we can have 100 kids, because we're bringing in craft supplies and goodie bags and everything. We've only got enough for 100 kids.
Yeah.
When 200 kids show up, it doesn't work. In fact, what happened with that was we had 100 kids inside and another 100 outside looking in, and there's no glass on those windows. And they're all talking out there, and the kids that are inside can't hear what's being said, so it just messes it up for everybody. So last year what we did is we took a group, some of them took those 100 kids down the street and played games so that we could continue to share with the 100 kids we had. Now, I don't think that'll happen quite the same in Bahamas as it would in the Philippines. The thing about a mission trip is you always got to be over prepared and then do what you can with what you have. There's always things that just unexpected comes up. I think it would be good for us to divide into, there's a 4 to 7-year-old group, and there's others that are doing the 8 to 12-year-old group, and others that are doing the 13 to 18-year-old group. Then the issues come up like, well, I'm looking after my little brother, and he's 5 and I'm 16, and can he come with me? Well, he's going to be too old for the 5-year-old, and he's going to be too young for the 16-year-old lessons or activities. And so somehow you've got to befriend these kids so they'll come with you. And I don't have a magic answer for that, you know? I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say yes. Because it won't work as well, you know? So that's where each of you will play an important part with getting the kids involved with you and with the kids in your group. And hopefully they'll know other kids and they'll have friends in that age group.
For sharing the gospel, I know like sometimes the SCP would do this where like we would have a drama or a skit that has to do with the message, and then like we just act it out before it goes in. It's just like a fun way to introduce it or share a story.
So a little drama team. So that means you've got to have your message worked out and your little drama worked out ahead of time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So if there is any message like happening, it's going to be done by us?
Yes, I'm not doing it.
No, I'm just saying like by our group, not other people there that are staff.
No, because I said to them when we were over there, I said, well, what we did last year in the Philippines is we did the Kids EE as our message, and they said, oh, that's good. You know, I said, I didn't want to just take over and tell them, well, we can do this, we can do this, because this is their thing, you know, it's their place. So I was letting them do a lot of the talking first, and that done evangelism explosion over there, so they're familiar with it, and they seem to be quite happy with us doing that, if we want to do that.
One difference is that we did EE in 1 or 2 days, whereas in Bahamas we'll have 10.
Yeah, well, the other difference is when we were in the Philippines, we had 2 days with 2 or 3 hours, whereas over there we'll do we can do 15-minute messages. Really. One of the things that could be improved on the Philippines is, you know, we had, like, at that school we went to, we had the kids for 2 or 3 hours one day, we came back for 2 or 3 hours the next day. The kids really loved it at the end of that 2 or 3 hours if we all got out and played with them. Now this is where we get to play games with them here in the Philippines. It's all going to be in the Bahamas. It's all going to be mixed in the gospel games, It's all going to be right mixed in, so we get that relationship building and the fun.
Are we doing like, what were they called, teachable moments? Like, we're about to play water polo, there's a message.
Who's the water?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a very good idea. Teachable message at activities.
Yeah.
Just try to keep it brief and entertaining, but still very sincere.
So the difference, there's a big difference between this one and the Philippines. In the Philippines, we're only there for like 2 days, right? But this will be with them for 10 days, so we can actually build relationships with these kids.
Yeah.
The same people for the, yeah.
Except occasionally they won't show up because they've got to go work or look after the little baby or who knows what. big difference between here and SEP is we've got those kids, they can't go home.
Right.
These kids go home every day and they may not come back the next day, so you've got to make sure they have a good time.